Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another week of me trying to be profitable and earn a payout. And this week we started on the funded midway through as the monthly reset came, and want to start moving a bit faster since it is the eval stage and I've passed before and I've proved that I can make it. Since that is the case, I am going in with a little bit more leverage to speed up process, being careful to follow the plan and take those A+ setups. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into this week's trades. Alright, so for this week, since I only have a few days left, I wanted to just move up the risk and get it as far as I can while sticking to the plan. Also want to start cycling through the accounts faster as I do want to improve the pace. I'm not going to stay trading little mini bits forever, and I have proof of concept that I can do well, and with my mental state being a lot better, I felt it was a good time to start moving up. But going into the high time ring, we seem to be following a bearish sentiment with price retesting into NWOG and currently respecting a 1 hour fair value gap. I can see price continuing lower into NWOG and perhaps to the 4 hour order block and the low within that, but we'll just have to wait for that to confirm before we're sure of anything. Looking into the low time ring, we also affirmed the bearish sentiment with price respecting this 15-minute fair value gap and having a nice reaction off of it. This reaction was also created a 5-minute fair value gap. I'll wait till closer to my optimal trading time though, and then market marinate a bit further as hopping in now would be quite early. Going into the setup today, I did see that price was continuing lower and had a shift on the 1 minute to the downside, and because of that I decided to enter into the setup, and the shift was all the confirmation that I needed since price was already respecting the 15 plus 5 minute imbalances above. The price did start stalling without much bearish power, then market open hit shortly after, giving us a pump up to hit our stop loss for a loss of 560. And for today, what I could have done better was waiting a bit more. It was my optimal trading time, yeah, but the 1 minute shift could have been stronger, and we still hadn't tapped that 5 minute fair value gap within the 15-minute breaker, so we could have moved higher to tap that. Waiting past market open, there was also a shift to the buy side, which I could have seen had I waited. Overall, too, attached to the short bias and built an expectation towards it, which made me take a worse setup overall. Alright, fresh account today, so let's see how we do. Looking at the high time, we were at all-time highs again, with price retesting into this 4 hour plus 1 hour imbalance overlap, and I wanted to wait on the low time frame for a clearer direction as I felt that we could move in either direction. So moving into the low time frame, we retested the 15-minute fair value gap that was within the 1 hour fair value gap, and we had a wick sweep off of tapping that imbalance. We were currently retesting this 5-minute imbalance, so I wanted to see the reaction from this PD array to get a better idea for possible moves. And going into the setup, this trade was somewhat clear with us having a 5-minute fair value gap break, creating a inverse fair value gap, although this wasn't that strong. On the 1 minute, we were overall respecting a 1 minute fair value gap from this accumulation, and also developed LRLs to the buy side, which we could use as an easy target. And I waited for price to react to this 1 minute order block, and price ended up getting a shift reaction, so I entered with confidence. And price ended up running really nicely, and we moved real close to hitting my TP from the first candle itself, but we started stalling. It's alright though, since we're so close, I have faith that we can hit my TP. Okay, in all seriousness though, this trade was alright, but my mistake was that I was aiming for a prominent high when I didn't need to put all that extra risk on the table. I could have just targeted something more confirmed like the 1 minute high just before that prominent draw on liquidity, so aiming for easier targets if the difference isn't that much. Also probably could consider trading on NQ since today I had to risk like 25 contracts to get the proper risk, and that took way longer to do and ended up feeling me a little worse than I would have liked. And the reason I did micros before was because I did shave profits, but I haven't found myself trimming as much recently, so I'm gonna try use NQ next time. Alright, looking at the high time today, we're moving a bit bearish, currently with price retesting this 1 hour order block for bearish, and we are tapping into this 4 hour fair value gap, which we could see continue to get tapped through, though this depends on how price develops further. Looking at the low time, price was currently trending higher, though we did get a wick sweep and we were losing quite a lot of bullish power, and because of these indications I was leaning more towards shorts, though this bias can easily be switched if price were to break higher. And the setup actually came pretty quickly. Price ended up getting a 1 minute shift to the sell side from the 5-minute order block retest, and since we had all the confluences stacked up and respected for bearish, plus we got the shift we required, I took the setup with confidence. And initially this was pretty slow, with price slowly crawling down in our favor. I was pretty confident though, since I thought it through before entering and there wasn't any 5-minute and above confluences that could reverse my setup. And price ended up getting to my break-even spot, so I moved to break-even, and price eventually climbed down from macro to hit my TP for a nice one of 600. And for what I could have done better today, since macro was in my favor, I could have taken it to the prominent low. You saw that I moved my TP to the first LRL instead of the last because Tuesday traumatized me. Overall, I'm really happy with the setup today because it followed my plan and confirmation. Alright, high time frame today in the moment seemed quite bearish, with us having massive down moves throughout the day, and we were also accumulating after price hit the 4-hour order block, though we were also respecting this 1-hour order block overall. And Littleroot today seemed to be indicating bullish overall though, since we did just develop a 15-minute CISD and we were overall respecting a 15 plus 5-minute order block. So the consensus adding onto the high time frame accumulation made the in the moment play feel more bullish. And going into the setup, I took this trade more out of reflex, as we were respecting the 5-minute order block plus 1-minute fair value gap, and we ended up developing a new 1-minute order block. And price was moving bearish quite well in the moment, and we also had macro volatility. So since we had all those confluences stacked up, I decided to market into this setup. And this trade went pretty quickly as price started to push higher and hit my stop loss for a loss of 440. For today, what I could have done better was being more patient. We did form a new 1-minute order block, but we could have waited for the retest and waited past market open. Had we waited past market open, we could have seen this 1-minute order block get developed, which price then formed respecting the down move. Entered a bit too early too, since we hadn't swept any buy side liquidity, and there were so many easy draws on liquidity to the buy side that would align with the low time frame imbalance retest that I could have expected it. I am happy that I am remaining less stuck to a bias though, as initially I was really looking towards the longs since they were the 4-hour order block plus 15-minute order block, which we were expecting, but I changed my mind from the recently developed confluences. Alright, so that about does it for this week. Pretty quick this week. It felt like I've been grinding a lot every day, so time just flows past really quick. But yeah, we did do pretty well throughout the week, though just at the very end I took a more subpar trade compared to Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's alright though, it's all part of the process, and we all make mistakes. That's how we learn, and I'm sure that we're going to take this loss and learn more lessons from it. More patience, more discipline, whatever it is that I find after reflection. Oh yeah, I also started posting daily raw clips of me taking the setup, so if you guys do want to check out the more in depth of what my process is like for taking the setup, you can watch those videos. But yeah, otherwise that's about it for this week. And if you guys are interested, check out me and my friends' Discord. It's just a chill place for everybody to talk and grow as traders, and we're all on the same journey to become the traders that we want to become. So yeah, join up if you guys are keen. But yeah, that's about it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.